Let me tell you something, Dream. And I'm only going to say this once, so you better pay attention. You are utterly the stupidest, most self-centered, pathetic excuse for an anthropomorphic personification on this or any other plane. Feeling sorry for yourself because your little game is over and you haven't got the balls to go out and find a new one.
On completing the quest to regain his stolen tools, Morpheus loses all sense of purpose. After escaping his traumatic century-long captivity, the Dream Lord's only goal was to enact vengeance on his captors and recover all his prized possessions. However, having completed this task, Morpheus is plagued by feelings of emptiness as he gloomily sulks in a public park. While feeding a flock of pigeons, he is approached by his sister, Death. Just like Morpheus, Death is a powerful immortal being. However, unlike her brother who controls dreams, Death leads mortal creatures from Earth to the Sunless Lands, an alternate realm where souls find peace. Death is excited to reunite with her brother and asks about his gloomy demeanor. Learning he's lost all sense of purpose, Death invites him to tag along while she does her job around town. Eager to catch up on his sister's life, Morpheus accepts her invitation as the duo leaves the park. As brother and sister exit the scene, Death is approached by Franklin, an athletic young man playing soccer nearby. Franklin introduces himself to Death and politely requests her number. Flattered, she chuckles and promises to meet him again soon, but quickly disappears alongside Morpheus. The two immortals walk around town and catch up on a family drama as Death gives the Dream Lord updates on their siblings, Desire and Despair. Minutes later, the duo arrives at the house of an elderly violinist. Carrying out her job, Death informs the old man that his time in the living world is over and allows him to process the heavy news. Coming to terms with his impending demise, Death flies the man's soul to the Sunless Lands, while Morpheus waits for her. The duo continues after Death returns, as they proceed to the next soul on her list. Throughout the day, Morpheus tails his sister and carefully watches as she takes humans of all ages and backgrounds to the other side. Between missions, Death declares her purpose in life is to help humans find peace on the other side. With that, she gives a compelling speech about their duty as immortals to help humans, explaining that that is their true purpose. Morpheus is moved by the speech and thanks her for helping him realize that. As they conclude their walk, the duo ends in the park with Death meeting Franklin once more. However, this time, the athlete is dead, and like the others, is led on a journey to the Sunless Lands. With his sister gone, Morpheus heads for an appointment at a nearby bar. Reaching there, he realizes the tavern he's searching for has relocated, and instead finds an abandoned house in its place. The location brings back memories as the Dream Lord reminisces about events 7 centuries in the past. Back in the year 1389, when the location was still a tavern, Morpheus and Death meet there to grab some drinks. While they socialize, the immortal duo overhears a drunk man, Hob, bragging about defeating Death. Hob drunkenly calls Death stupid and remarks he'd happily live for eternity if he was given the chance. Morpheus finds the mortal's claims laughable and is confident Hob would wish for Death if he truly became immortal. Death is intrigued by Morpheus's prediction and proposes they place a bet on it. To test Morpheus's claims, Death gifts Hob immortality and blesses him with eternal youth. With the bet in effect, the Lord of Dreams approaches Hobbs and informs him of his newly gifted immortality. In exchange, Morpheus demands the ex-mortal meet him in the same tavern every 100 years to learn if he ever changes his mind about Death. Naturally, Hob thinks Morpheus is joking, but still agrees to meet him at the pub if they're both alive in 100 years. Exactly 1 century after their conversation, Hob keeps his word and meets Morpheus in the tavern. Confused as to how he's still alive, Hob inquires about the Dream Lord's identity. However, Morpheus refuses to answer and instead asks for an update on his life. Hob gives a short summary of the last 100 years and adds he'd still like to keep living. Morpheus is shocked to hear this, but goes on to schedule their following meeting for the next century. In 1589, the Dream Lord returns and discovers Hob has amassed a great deal of wealth in the last 100 years. The immortal human reveals he now has a wife and kid, and was recently made a knight. In light of his good fortune, Hob has a strong desire to live, and now more than ever enjoys his immortality. In 1689, the duo meets yet again, but this time, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐨 is poor and miserable, having lost his riches and family. However, despite these misfortunes, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐨 proves Morpheus wrong and still chooses a miserable, endless life to a nice mortal one. While they talk, the duo catches the eye of an artist, who takes a dated drawing of them from a distance. The next time they meet, Morpheus finds 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 is doing much better, as the once wealthy man managed to recover the bulk of his riches. While he gives Morpheus the routine update on his life, the duo is approached by a cloaked woman, protected by 2 guards. The mystery woman, Lady Joanna Constantine, an ancestor of the current Joanna, hands the duo the drawing made of them over a century ago, revealing she's aware of their immortality. She demands the secret of their eternal youth and threatens to kill them if they refuse to answer. Her guards swiftly move toward the duo, but 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 counters and easily takes them down. Meanwhile, Morpheus uses his sand on the cloaked woman, forcing her into a trance. Witnessing this, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 confirms that Morpheus is truly a supernatural being. After the incident, they decide to be more careful, to avoid blowing their cover, but still agree to meet after a century. In 1889, the duo reunites yet again, but 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 is more curious about Morpheus this time. He theorizes the Dream Lord is lonely and desperate for friendship, which is why he keeps meeting him even after several centuries have passed. A proud Morpheus feels insulted by 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴's insinuation and reprimands him for thinking they're friends. In a fit of rage, the Lord of Dreams vows never to meet him again and angrily storms out of the bar. A century later, Morpheus is captured by Roderick Burgess, and as a result, doesn't show up for their routine appointments. Meanwhile, in the outside world, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 returns to the bar and discovers Morpheus isn't there. Unaware that he has been captured, 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 believes Morpheus still holds a grudge against him. Despite this, he doesn't relent and occasionally visits the bar, hoping the Dream Lord will come by. Back in the present, Morpheus notices a new bar beside the abandoned building and enters it. There, he finds 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐴 waiting for him and apologizes as he finally accepts the immortal human as his friend. Meanwhile, in a distant realm, Morpheus's estranged sibling Desire holds a meeting with an unnamed entity. They express their displeasure over the Dream Lord's escape from captivity and hatch a secret plan to take him down.